Hello and welcome. My name is Amy and I am a reseller. And at this moment, I only list on Poshmark. But in this video, what I'd like to do is take you with me while I go from listing on Poshmark to listing on Poshmark and eBay. So I started out as a reseller, not because I wanted to start a side hustle or a reselling business, but because I wanted to sell items that I had purchased for myself, but never really used. What I was basically looking to do was to recoup my losses. This Coach purse, for example, is the first thing I ever sold on Poshmark. And as soon as it sold, I knew I loved reselling. So for the last 5 years, I've been consistently sourcing and selling on Poshmark. But in the last 2 years or so, I've really thought about expanding to other platforms. And even though there are many reselling platforms I could go to, I feel like if I can successfully resell on eBay, then adding any other platform later on down the road will be no problem. Now, there is no shortage of great advice on how to start an eBay store. As I'm scrolling through, I can tell you I've probably watched all of these videos and then some. But I think part of the information overload kind of gives an intimidation factor. A lot of these videos tell you what not to do and what to be aware of and how to do this right and what I would do if I were starting to resell again. So in a way, eBay really is my Everest. So if you're hoping to get really good advice on how to set up and sell on eBay, I would advise you watch some of these other channels. For our purposes here, we're just going to go through and do this together. Now, full disclosure, I've never listed anything on eBay. So this video could turn out being how to really mess this up, but we're going to try it together. So stick with me. So, though I've never sold anything on eBay, I have purchased things on eBay. So I already have an account set up. So for example, these shoes right here, I just love them. I still have them. But if I click over here on selling, you can see that there is really nothing that I've ever sold. So all of this is pretty much blank. I do notice a couple of things that are interesting. One thing that I learned from all of those videos that I watched is that there is a need for positive feedback. And though I kind of knew this, I didn't realize I could get positive feedback by buying things. So here, somebody did leave me some feedback on some tarot cards that I bought. They said, "Thank you, God bless." So that was nice of that seller to leave me that feedback. I don't really know if that will impact my overall feedback, because according to what the videos say, the more positive feedback that you get, the more you can list on eBay. So that's what I'm kind of wondering. That's one of my questions that I don't have the answer to just yet. Additionally, I use Vendoo, and I've known I've wanted to cross list to other platforms for a couple of years now. I just haven't really had the time to do it. So you can see that I have a good amount of inventory already listed in Vendoo, but everything is just listed to Poshmark. So today, earlier, before I started this video, I went ahead and set up my eBay store to connect to Vendoo. So what I'm hoping is that because I have things already listed in Vendoo, that I'll be able to just click on a button and bam, it'll be listed in eBay. I hope it's that easy. But what I'm not going to do, or what I really don't have enough time to do, is to write out listings in Poshmark and then rewrite them again in eBay. So one of the reasons why I am starting this eBay store is because of Vendoo, because now I have the ability to hopefully just click and it gets listed to both places. Now, having said that, I don't believe that I'll be allowed to list everything that I have in Vendoo on eBay. According to the videos that I've watched, there is a limit to what you can initially start listing. I've heard in some cases you can have 5 things listed. Some people have said, no, you can have up to $500 of inventory listed. And that has to do with factors that I really don't understand. So I don't know if I get more because I purchased off eBay. So that is another thing that we're going to have to discover together. Now, having said that, it is time for me to decide what it is that I'm going to initially list in my eBay store. And I have a few thoughts on this. One of my goals for setting up an eBay store is that in the last couple of years, I've really taken an interest in restoring handbags, and I would like to create some YouTube content on how I go about doing that. So I've been sourcing this mid-tier range type of handbag. Here you see a lot of Brahmin, there's Coach, there's Dunahy and Burke. So it's filling this closet, and now it's moved over to this makeshift shelf that I made. But none of these bags are listed. It's really just waiting for me to set up this eBay account, use them to make some YouTube content, and then list them. So this is just a lot of really expensive inventory sort of waiting, which is really not good. So one of the things I did in preparation for this video is I went ahead and I pulled some bags that are in pristine condition, so they are ready to go, and they also have their dust bag included. So I've noticed a lot in research is that when people are looking at bags, they really like a dust bag. But when you source by thrifting, garage sales, estate sales, they don't always have the dust bag. So one of the things that I've been doing when I restore a handbag is I make a color coordinating dust bag to sort of sell along with the handbag, just to hopefully give me a little bit of an edge when people are looking to buy handbags. So my first possibility for listing on eBay are these handbags that are ready to go. My concern is that these handbags actually are going to exceed a $500 limit. So I might not be able to list all of them, but I think I'm going to at least list one or two of them. Now, my second goal for listing on eBay are tarot cards. So I've collected tarot cards for a really long time. And in the last couple years, what I've noticed is a lot of places will bundle a bunch of tarot cards together. So the one special deck that I want comes bundled with a whole lot of decks that I already have. So this closet is my personal closet. So it's sort of overtaking my personal closet. And as a result, it's not organized and it's not special. So my second goal is to really list tarot cards that I have duplicates of on eBay. Now, this is not probably ready to go yet. As you can see, it's pretty disorganized. So I think listing the tarot cards on eBay is a future me goal and not a current me goal. So my final goal with listing on eBay is just to get more eyes on the things that I'm selling. So I know that eBay has probably a way larger customer base than Poshmark. So I'm hoping that by cross-listing from Poshmark to eBay, I just generate more sales than I would by only listing on Poshmark. So one of the things that I do want to attempt to do today is to take some of these items that are already for sale in my Poshmark closet and also list them on eBay. So we have arrived at our destination, which is to actually list something on eBay for the first time. So you can see here on my Vendoo page, I have those purses that I showed earlier, and they are ready to be listed. You can see that they're not listed to any platform yet. I still have to go through and list them to the platform. So I'm going to start, all these purses are getting listed onto Poshmark, but I'm going to start with this one right here. This one I'm listing for $410. So I don't actually want to list this one on eBay. So I just want to show you what it's like to list from Vendoo to Poshmark, which I do all the time. So I'm really used to that. So I'm going to click on this. And like I said, eBay and Poshmark, it's not listed, but everything is ready to go. The photographs are done. The description is done. I've priced it and everything. So if I click here, listed on Poshmark, it's going to tell me what I need to fix before it actually will go to Poshmark. So I'm going to scroll down and look for where there might be an error. So one thing it says, well, what kind of a bag is it? It's not a crossbody. I need to change that too. It's probably a tote. And the other thing it wants is this original price. And it is a bag and a wallet. So I want to say the bag was $395 originally, and the wallet it was $135. So some quick math is going to tell me that that is $530. So I'm going to click $530. One thing I have done with the things that I listed today is I included, oh, it's not on here because it's Poshmark. I included the weight and I included the dimensions of the box that I'm going to ship it in. So more on that in a minute. I'm going to just go ahead and list it on Poshmark. And it thinks about it for a few minutes. Thinking about it for a long time. And then I just click view listing and you can see here it is listed on Poshmark. It really was that easy. So let's try to list one on eBay as well to see if it works out that way. So we're back here at the Vendoo page, and my intention was to list one of these Brahmin purses on eBay, which would be my first ever listing on eBay. And so I went through and did that, but unfortunately the video segment that I was doing didn't save. So it's actually kind of fortunate because it was a 45-minute video, so there were some errors. So what I want to do is just kind of explain quickly what happened and then do a second listing. So I was listing this Brahmin Lorelei purse. That was going to be my first thing I ever listed on eBay. So I clicked on it and I filled out all these sections that are unique to eBay, but not necessarily to Poshmark. And when I went click list on eBay, it came up with a message saying, you can't list on eBay right now. eBay needs more information. So I went to eBay trying to figure out what more information they wanted from me. And what I ultimately ended up doing was just creating a listing right here in eBay. And it was very frustrating because my goal is to list from Vendoo because, like I said earlier, I don't have time to list both in Poshmark and in eBay. So I went through and I filled out all the boxes again. I'd already done it in Vendoo, and I clicked submit so that it would list on eBay. And I got an error message again that said, no, we don't have all the information. So after clicking around for a few minutes, what I found out was eBay needed to verify that it was me doing this listing. So I had to kind of confirm my address. They texted me a code to sort of enter to say, oh yes, this is definitely me. It's me trying to create this listing. And then I was ultimately able to create this listing. So this Lorelei purse is my very first listing on eBay. Once I kind of got through that hurdle of verifying my identity, I was able to get it listed. But you can see it's not listed on eBay in Vendoo, and that's kind of a problem, but I'm not going to worry about that for right now. What I want to do is kind of walk you through doing this again. So this time, and I want to make sure it works from Vendoo because I still don't know if it works from Vendoo. So we're going to start with this Brahmin crossbody. But before I really get into that, I just want to let everybody know I got a subscription to Vendoo solely based on the fact that I had made enough profit from Poshmark to cover the cost of Vendoo. I don't want anybody to think that in order to resell on any platform, you need a tool like Vendoo. You really don't. You can easily list on either Poshmark or eBay. In fact, you could probably list on both. Vendoo is just a time-saving tool for me. And at this moment, I'm not sure it is saving me any time. So let's go ahead and get this crossbody listed to see if it'll work from Vendoo. So a big hurdle to eBay, at least for me, and I think for a lot of people, is shipping. I do know I'm going to use Ground Advantage. So after I photographed this bag, I went ahead and found the package I plan on mailing it in, and I measured and weighed it. So I typed that in already. But it is a little frustrating because I normally keep my packaging in the garage. Now it's in my Poshmark, or I guess now my reselling room, and it's getting pretty cluttered. But we're gonna try to hopefully experience will help me sort that out a little bit better. For now, let's list this and see what happens. So I'm gonna click list the item under eBay. And just like on Poshmark, it came up with all the things that are missing that are needed for eBay. So this I anticipated. What I didn't anticipate is how much more information you put into eBay as opposed to Poshmark. So the first thing here is the colors. There are very few colors that you can select for Poshmark. Like burgundy is not even an option in Poshmark, but look at all these colors in eBay. And I'm really struggling to think, okay, what color is this purse when I have all these options? And I am looking here for pecan because I think it's known as a pecan color, and that's not an option. So I'm going to give up and just go ahead and ultimately select brown instead of being super fancy with it. Um, the exterior material is leather. So I here realize, you know what, I can just type leather rather than trying to scroll. The style, I think, is a crossbody. So click that. The condition. So this is pre-owned. It's not new with tags or new without tags. So one thing I do know about eBay is I can put pre-owned and then put either excellent used condition, or in this case, I put pristine condition, which is a term I think that refers more to like a handbag. So I click here on the show optional fields. I don't think there are any accents. So since these are optional, I can skip these. There are some accessories. I do have a dust bag, and I know there's a little charm on there. So I'm going to go through here and look for dust bag, and I can't find it. So when I start to type out, I realize what eBay calls it is an original dust bag. So I click on that. So that accessory is in there. So the bag measurements are up in my photos. So I'm going to go up to the photos and um, see, because I don't remember what they are. I'm going to go find those, come back down. I noticed that here I do have the strap drop, which is 25 inches. So I'm going to come back down to the item dimensions and enter those. So it's really narrow. So it's only 1.5 inches. And it doesn't let me type that in. And now when I go to the width, it's 8.5 inches, but it won't let me do that either. So what I'm ultimately going to do is just leave it at 8. Then I think it's probably better to round up. So I go double check what my dimension is on that. And I think it's probably better to put 9. So come back down here, change this to 9. And keep going. So character is like, oh, a Barbie or Batman. It doesn't have anything like that, so I'm going to skip that one. The closure, it has this little magnetic tab. So I'm going to find magnet in here. And I do wonder if I should put more than one thing because it has that magnetic tab, but it also has two zipper pockets. But for now, I just have magnet. The country of manufacture, it was Cambodia. I know that from the other purse. So find Cambodia in here. It's not customized, so I skip that. And fabric type, I feel like the fabric is leather, and I've already typed that, so I'm not really sure what to do here. So I think I'm going to skip that for now. I look through these features, and I don't know if any of these features apply to this purse. I do know that it has a crossbody strap, so I kind of picked that crossbody strap just to have something there. I don't know if I need something. I double check here. That credit card I kind of considered because it does have credit card slots, but I'm not sure. I don't know if that'll imply that it comes with a credit card, which it absolutely will not. So I'm going to move on from this. The finish, seems like it's already pre-filled with some things. I kind of wish it would say crocodile, but I'm going to go with stamped or embossed. The handle drop, I remember, is 25 inches. So I'm going to type 25 inches here. The handle style is the crossbody strap. Again, I feel like I do that a couple times. The color is brown, I guess is the best description of that color. And the material is also leather. So I see faux leather, but it's real leather. So I'm going to scroll down here to leather. It is not handmade. The hardware color is gold. The hardware material is just metal. They give you kind of more fancy types that it could be, but I'm just going to say it's metal. So I'm going to type that in. And now that I'm thinking about it, I better double check that it is gold. It is. So scroll back down, pick up where I left off. I don't know the lining color is beige, but I want to double check that as well. Yes, it is beige. Scroll back down. I've been photographing a lot of purses, so I want to make sure that I'm accurate in my description. Now the lining material is called a chamois, or it's almost like a microfiber, but those are not options really. So I'm just going to pick polyester. I'm not going to be fancy with my description of the lining material. I don't really know what MPN means. I probably could click does not apply, but I'd leave it blank. Now, this gets interesting. The model is, there are some Brahmin models. It says Mariana there. This is not a Brahmin Mariana, so I ultimately end up skipping this. For the occasion, I think it's just a casual little bag, so I'm going to pick casual. Now for pattern, again, I wanted to look for crocodile. It doesn't list it, and now that I'm kind of watching myself do this, I think I could have put Melbourne. It's considered Melbourne leather, but I kind of figure it's got the stamp embossed pattern. That's good enough. The product line, here are some more Brahmin product lines that are already pre-filled in here, but none of them are going to be the ones that I have listed here. So I see the Duxbury, which is one that I do want to list. I do find it says Brahmin Pecan. I don't think pecan is a line, so I'm not real sure about that. So it's a rectangle. I think it's a small bag. I'm going to double check that it is a rectangle small bag. Yes, it is. I'm going to keep going here. So the strap drop, again, it asked me for the strap drop. I already typed in 25 inches, but I'm going to do it again. I don't know why it asked me twice. And the theme, I don't think it has a theme. The unit quantity, I only have one of them. The unit type, I don't think it's any of those things, so I skip that. It is not considered vintage, and I'm not sure what UPC means. So now this is interesting right here, that I can type some of this in and have it auto-populate. Yeah, I probably am going to do that here pretty soon. Shipping method, back to this stressful shipping thing. So standard small to medium. I don't want to do flat. I want to do calculated, because as I understand it, if you do calculated shipping and somebody buys this who's close in area to where I am, it will save them some money. If I did flat rate, then everybody I think would pay the same. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I understand that to be. I already have the weight and the dimensions in, as I said earlier. Handling time, I'm pretty used to getting things out the very next day, so that's nothing new for me. And then finally, I'm going to go to this USPS Ground Advantage. And I really do kind of consider all the other options. It's crazy to me how many ways you could ship something. But I determined when I started this little project that that's what I was going to use for now. So I pick my location, and then I am not entirely sure about accepting returns, but I know that most eBay sellers do accept returns. So I'm going to go ahead and select that for now to see what happens. I'm going to give 30 days to get that back to me. And this, I'm not sure. This I could change. For now, I'm going to say the buyer pays for the return, because it seems kind of crazy that I would then have to pay to get my own stuff back. So all I can do for the refund method is give the money back. I can't give a different item. I only have one. So for now, I'm going to do the fixed price, not the auction. I do want to try the auction, but that's going to be something that I try later. Duration, good till canceled. The buy it now price. I want in Poshmark, I do allow, or it does give me the chance to do offers. I don't know exactly how to do that in eBay. So I'm going to leave this one not selected until I figure that out. So here we are, list on eBay. Let's see what happens. Please don't let there be an error. Please let this go through. All right, listing, thinking. It listed my item. So let me click here on view listing, and there it is. It is listed on eBay. So success. It does feel like I've been trying to list this purse for 4 days now, but here it is. It's listed on eBay. So now I just want to go and click revise listing to make sure I haven't really missed anything. So here are the photos. They look pretty good. The title, the category, all of these things that you just watched me put into Vendoo are now in eBay. So it doesn't look like that it's not pulled in something from Vendoo. So that's really good news. When I did do the listing for the first purse directly in eBay, I feel like it auto-populated a lot of this, so I didn't have to pick quite all of these boxes. So that was one thing that I did find to be a little bit easier by listing directly into eBay. But I don't think it's going to be easier because I'm listing in eBay and in Poshmark. So here's what I need, allow offers. So if I click this, it still gives me these two boxes, minimum offer and auto accept, but I don't think I have to do either one of those. I just want people to say, hey, I'll give you this much money for this purse right now. So I could be a little bit off on how auto offers works in eBay, but I'm just going to go with it for now. So revise the listing, click done, and now you can see there are my 2 things that I now have in eBay. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go back to Vendoo, and I want to list something that's already listed in my closet. I'm not going to make you come along with me as I fill in all the boxes, but I do want to do one more in this video. So here we are back in my Vendoo account, and you can see now I've clicked on all my active listings, and everything is active in Poshmark. So I am going to find something that's already in Poshmark and go ahead and list it also to eBay. So what I think I'm going to do is this Free People little floral dress. So let me click on this, and I am going to go over here and list it on eBay. I'm not going to make you watch me fill in all of these areas. So I'm going to pause the video while I do that, and then I'm going to come back and sort of tell you if anything unusual happened. So here I am, I'm back, and now there's just been a couple things that I've learned. One thing is that in some of these areas like style and features, you can put more than one thing there. So that was really helpful to know, because usually those types of words I type into the description. So it's actually a little nicer in eBay that you can just kind of go through and select them. Another thing was this fabric type. The fabric type and the fabric material, I guess, are considered 2 different things. The material of this dress was viscose, so I didn't put anything in for type. I put in all my shipping stuff, so let's list it and see what happens. Thinking, no mistakes, go through. Please don't make me stop. What? You listed your first item. Did you? My first item. Oh, this is my first cross-listed item because it's in both places. So, Vendoo users list more on more than 3 marketplaces have a sell-through rate of 180%. Maybe I'll be setting up another platform. No, this has been a lot. So I'm going to go to eBay and make sure that it's actually listed in eBay. And here it is. Now I have 3. So now I'm pretty confident that I can go from Vendoo to eBay. It was a bit of a rocky road to do it, but now that I feel like I have it down, I think I'm ready to sort of end this video. I would like to say, if you are doing this with me, just keep with it. You'll figure it out. It's not that much. But if you're an experienced eBay seller with advice, please give me the advice, because I could always use more practical ways of doing this. I want to thank you if you stayed all the way till the end. And until the next video, which is hopefully going to be about restoring purses, have fun reselling.